just address some things that have been making me real sick lately. Okay, guys, so let's just understand. Nick Wright is going on a freaking just tour right now on multiple shows. His show, Collins, and he keeps repeating the same idiotic line. If the Warriors were to go against OKC and lose and this and that, and then they go against OKC, they would get swept, banged out, terrible, mollywopped. And I'm like, what? And before I address that, if you guys have noticed in the media, OKC is hardly in depth talked about. But every time someone mentions them, it's this brief kind of mention of, yeah, they're just super really good. They're flawless. Oh my God, they're just unstoppable juggernaut. Da, 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 da. And I'm like, what? Guys, every time you hear it, it's like everyone's like, yeah, Shade's like, it's really good. And OKC, they're really good. They do things really well. They're flawless. I don't think people's actually watching these OKC games. I think people see the record. I don't think people are understanding. I think people are copping out, and what they're doing is they're just vaguely these analysts are vaguely mentioning things, and they just kind of sharing this hive mind opinion, and then it just kind of rolls over. You know how these analysts are. They're hardly ever analysts anymore. They don't diagnose the game. They don't dissect the game. They don't break down plays. They don't know the nuances. All they kind of say is superstar, superstar, superstar. Get great players and it'll make it happen. The same analysts that love these super team moves that you can kind of tell from out the gate that don't work out. You try to explain that to them in basketball sense, and they just don't get it, right? Because you try to explain it in a football sense, they just don't get it, right? Because they're just casuals who know less than the average fans in our comment section, who also has to point them out and show how much they're wrong every time. And there's a science behind why these analysts, quote unquote, are so bad. Even the ones who are former players are so bad. That I will be releasing. But yeah, Nick Wright keeps saying this dumb thing that Golden State will get swept. First of all, guys, I'm gonna tell you right here. I'm gonna go ahead and say that because OKC is just getting this ungodly pass of just being these juggernauts that they're not. OKC will not win a championship. They will not come out the Western Conference. That is a fact of the matter. They are not a scary team. OKC is a good team. And Nick is a king at making points, right? Nick Wright he's a king at making points to make things sound worse than what they are. Like he's very good at constructing things in a way that they're terrible. You know what I mean? So like, let's say you have like a neutral situation or whatever. Nick is very good at finding a way to say it to make it sound terrible. Like let's say like a team's record against winning teams, and it depends on who he likes. Let's say a team's record against winning teams is they're like 15-6, pretty good. Nick will find a way to say, well, and let's say like this is true. He'll find a way to say, and if you look at this teams, I know everybody is hooping and hobbling about this team, but if you look at it, their record versus teams who we consider contenders, right, which is maybe 2 in the East and 3 in the West, their record against the teams that we consider contenders in the NBA media is 8-9. Not good. In fact, that is the lowest out of everybody else. If you did the exact same thing, it is 8-9. Now, he didn't take the record against 500, but if another team was bad against teams of 500, he would be like, yeah, they're this against the 500. He has a very good, and then he'll be like, oh, and by the way, just so you know, when trailing at least 10 points or more in the fourth quarter, they're 0-19, which is the worst in the NBA. If you get them down, you have them out. It's like, who pulls? What type of stat is that? Like, who pulls what? Because you use 10 points because the record that they would have would get miscued if they were down 9. It would get miscued if they were down 8. You know what I mean? Which shows that they can, but he's not interested in showing if a team can or cannot. He's just interested in trying to find the worst way to break down. Like, for example, this is a real thing in North America. Over the last 50 years, teddy bears have killed more humans than grizzly bears. That is a real thing. It's true. From like the choking and then the little kids, um, grizzly bear incidents in the U.S. are just very down. So Nick, if he had a vendetta against the grizzly bears, the first thing this guy would be like, and if you look at it, and here's a stat for you, in the last 50 years, teddy bears have killed more people than grizzly bears. They are not dangerous at all. A grizzly bear has lost its way. They're not dangerous. And you're looking like, brother, we know if we all came in contact with an angry grizzly bear that we would have zero chance compared to a teddy bear. But Nick will use a stat, right? Or he will construct a way to find a stat to adjust to his points. Like those random ESPN stats, like, I know we remember the little memes about LeBron. They'll be like, hey, LeBron or this player is the first player to average 31, 8, and 7 on at least 47% or more efficiency with their second best player out in the month of January, February, and March consecutively. It's like, what kind of stat? Who pulls this stat? And it's like, Nick pulls the stats where if you adjust it just slightly to the left or to the right or up and down, or you skew it in a way, it falls apart. So he finds a very nice sweet spot to put it in. I can't believe no one has pointed this out yet about this guy. He's absolutely ridiculous because he's a very smart person. He'll find a stat if he wants to make his case for the guys he wants to. Remember, he tried to convince us for years that Jokic wasn't a good player. Let's not forget that. He tried to convince us for years that Jokic wasn't a good player as he hyped up Luka, who is a lesser efficient version of Jokic. Makes no sense. Makes no sense at all. Unbelievable, man. And I hope you guys see right through it. These OKC Thunders are not juggernauts. They are good. And then let me also just break down to you a team's record. He said something, and I'm going to be loosely quoting. He said something like, I don't know. He was talking about the Grizzlies, right? And here's what I mean. He was talking about the Grizzlies saying, since the start of January, they've only beaten the team with a winning record or a record above 500. No. Since January, they only beaten the team top 10 in a conference 3 times. He's like, so they've went 2 months only beating the team 3 times. And first of all, we're not doing the month stuff because you don't know like how schedules work and how many games you may play this month and this month and this month. We're not doing the month stuff. Use games. You can't pick and choose what do you want to use, months or games. And this is what I mean. Like, why would you say the Grizzlies have not beaten a team in the top 10 in a conference, a top 10 team in a conference, but 3 times over the last 2 months? Like, that is a very, like, it's no one hears that line and antennas just flare up like, that's a very specific way. Why didn't we use playoff teams? Why didn't we use teams above 500 this time? Why didn't we use teams with a winning record? Why did we use the only last 2 months? Why didn't we not use the amount of games? That's because if you start skewing it, it doesn't sound as good anymore. So that's what I mean. He's very good at creating ways to say things in a worser way. He is an expert at that. He is an expert of finding something wrong. And if you find something wrong, if you look for something wrong, you're going to find something wrong. If you're looking for something great, you're going to find something great. Nick is no longer on the side of finding an argument from reality. He's on the side of constructing an argument from what he wants it to be. It's like, why would you do it? So he's like, so I can't imagine that they would win 4 games and over the stretch of 2 weeks against a team with a winning record. Yeah, they could, because picking that on this Tuesday in January they won a game, and then on this Wednesday in February they won a game, and it's a completely different from that than you consecutively locking in playing a team consistently night after night. It's totally different. It is totally different. But I guess that's something he doesn't want to understand. The smart guy, Nick Wright.